NBA's most valuable player.
Starting at guard, Tony Parker. Two guards, Steven Jackson. Small forward, Bruce Bowen. At center, David Robinson. And at power forward, myself, Tim Duncan.
Trying to get the idea that Tim kind of low-keys everything.
Except his game. His
Yes.
game is high-key.
The officials are Bernie Fryer, Derek Stafford, and Ken Mauer. And game 2 is underway as the Spurs control. Parker being played by Fisher. Tony Parker for Tim Duncan, guarded by Robert Horry. And Duncan with the first bucket of the night.
We see that the Lakers want to try and stay straight up, not coming double team too early. Hopefully they can hold them down for a quarter and a half. They know eventually they'll have to come after them, but they want to try and play straight up and avoid double teaming early on.
And a foul is called. It is on Bowen. Phil Jackson telling us earlier that he does not want Kobe Bryant going one-on-one as frequently as he did the other night against Bowen. And does not want to see as many jump shots. Kobe attempting 38 shots in all. And here is Bryant to the fadeaway.
They started him off down the low post there. They made him in the triangle, the post-up man, rather than Shaq that time, trying to get a closer shot inside against Bowen, perhaps to get it going early.
A very difficult assignment for Robert Horry against Tim Duncan. Shaquille O'Neal on the rebound. And here's Brian Shaw being played by Steven Jackson. There's a question as to how many minutes Brian Shaw can go because did not see that much action during the regular season. Robert Horry continues to have his shooting problems.
Marv, he's a guy that we have come to become accustomed with the fact that he's made so many big shots, huge shots. You just don't believe he's going to keep missing.
Bowen for 3. Now that's a rare straightaway 3 for Bruce Bowen.
Kobe Bryant is the designated helper right now on Tim Duncan. Bowen's going to have to be confident and keep shooting the basketball.
Nice move by Shaw. So Brian Shaw taking it to the bucket of the Spurs have a 5-4 lead. Parker gives it back. Bowen. Yes. Bruce Bowen more comfortable shooting that 3 from the corner. So he's hit his first 2 from downtown.
And Marv, he was a 44% three-point shooter, but people don't play him like that when they game plan.
Derek Fisher, who has picked up his shooting. And the good shooting began in the series against Minnesota, so the Spurs now have an 8-6 advantage. A live TNT NBA Spanish language feed is now available via SAP. And away from the ball, a holding foul charged to Shaw. Brian Shaw had been playing more minutes recently since the injury was suffered by Rick Fox.
Well, looking back, this is the 38 field goal attempts, the solid ones of the makes. Of those 38 attempts that he took in game number 1, 33, you see all the empty circles, those are misses. 33 of the 38 were jump shots that he took in that game, as opposed to drives, layups on the inside.
I thought you were involved in some kind of abstract art as Shaquille O'Neal is able to stuff.
And Greg Popovich is going to get Steven Jackson out right now for Ginobili because he's been beaten off the dribble by Shaw twice. Once for a layup and then that dunk by O'Neal. You've got to guard the ball better one-on-one.
Duncan with a nice move. Robert Horry gambled, went for the steal. So the Spurs now lead 10-8.
Problem with Horry tried to body up. He stood straight up. He lost his defensive position because Duncan has such great footwork. You straighten up and lean on Duncan, he'll spin right off you.
Now Jackson switches off, playing Bryant, who goes glass. Robinson with the rebound. What a solid performance the other night by David Robinson. Rick Popovich would like to see more offensively from Tony Parker. That pass off the mark. It's a backcourt violation as it's played by Bowen. Bowen preventing the Laker fast break. And here is one of the heroes from game 1, Manu Ginobili. checking in for Steven Jackson. Greg Popovich over at the bench talking with Jackson.
Well, I think the thing he's going to pose to him is, how does a 37-year-old Brian Shaw beat you off the dribble twice, and then you can hold Kobe Bryant and keep him in front of you? That's concentration and focus.
O'Neal drawing the double.
Well, let's go back to what happened last game with Steven Jackson. Okay, he got very upset with the officials. Parker with the crossover. Ball was touched while it was up there, actually, but it was going through the rim. They count the basket good. But going back to the last game, Popovich upset with Jackson because Jackson was going to go after the officials. Popovich did not want the momentum to swing because one of his players got involved in something with the officials. He reprimanded him, took him out of the game. Jackson wasn't real happy about it.
Power move by O'Neal. He was looking for more contact. So the Spurs in possession. They lead by 4. And a traveling violation called on Duncan, who felt he was tripped.
He may have tripped over Ori's foot, but it may have been him just trying to shuffle across and move his feet. Watch the feet down low. Ori's left foot is there, and Duncan trips over the left foot. Was it intentional, or was it Duncan's fault for going into him? The official felt it was not the defensive man who initiated that.
But that's a foul right there.
Spurs staying with the single coverage on O'Neal, and an offensive foul. So the Lakers hit with a foul. It's on Shaq. Call for the push.
Sometimes they throw it into Shaq. He throws it right back out. He's pointing to the corner. He wants the angle so he can get the baseline bounce pass, but he moves Robinson so far back. That's called displacing the defensive man.
Parker spinning his way, and he is fouled. Foul committed by Ori. Now, Shaquille O'Neal fouled out in game 1 with 3.5 minutes left. As it turned out, it was the 8th time in his playoff career that has happened. The other night, we had an informational miscue, so I said it was the first time ever in postseason that Shaq fouled out. Lazar was so upset, so mortified, he personally fired 3 members of our statistical staff. Jeff and I promptly rehired them. But as you know, Lazar, unforgiving and ruthless.
That's his M.O. Always has been as a coach, as a center on the high school football team, and now as a broadcaster.
And as an individual.
Yeah.
A lot of areas you include, I tell you.
Oh, the steal by Parker. Ginobili, chased by Shaw. The Spurs with a 16-8 lead.
And this is where Phil Jackson is different. Most NBA coaches would call a timeout here, break the momentum. He lets his team play through it.
And Kobe Bryant is able to drill it.
The question, Jeff, becomes, does LA have enough firepower? They don't have one of their best defensive games right now against San Antonio. Will they be able to score enough points to get a win here?
Parker has come out very active. Here's Bowen. Yes. How about Bruce Bowen? 8 points. He's hit all 3 of his shots.
And again, it comes about because Kobe Bryant does not respect him as an offensive player, and he's a designated helper. And he's also, like you said, Mike, trying to conserve some energy on defense so he has enough to go to offensively late in the game.
O'Neal backs his way. This time he draws the foul. It was on Robinson. For the Spurs, Alamo City, Marv Albert, Jeff Van Gundy, the Czar, Mike Fratello, and Czar of note following the Game 1 win by the Spurs over the Lakers. Phil Jackson complaining again about the officiating. I don't know if it was gamesmanship or a case of we lost the ball game, so I need something to complain about. But he was particularly upset about the disparity at the foul line.
Well, that difference at the line was 35-12 in favor of San Antonio. Well, let's go back and look at the last series for San Antonio. Against Phoenix, they averaged 33 free throws a game. During the regular season, we can see that San Antonio is very good at not allowing their opponents to shoot a lot. Second best in the NBA, just 21 free throw attempts per game for the opponents. Whereas the Lakers, they were number 23 in the NBA. They gave up almost 5 more free throws per game for their opponents. At the same time, San Antonio, 5th best in the league, only 20 fouls a game. The Lakers, 25th in the league, almost 23 fouls per game.
Shaquille O'Neal takes it right at David Robinson.
And that's what's hard to officiate right there. Did he knock him back in displacement? Is that an offensive foul? The officials are under pressure on every Shaquille O'Neal catch to determine what's a foul and what's not.
Malik Rose is getting set to check in. Duncan. And here comes Bryant with Fisher. The Spurs get back. Bruce Bowen digging in on Kobe Bryant. Nice pass. Horry. And Parker plays the tip. He has Ginobili. 2-on-1. Ginobili is fouled. And the Spurs want a goaltend. They want the bucket.
I don't think it was a goaltend.
And apparently that's what the officials are saying.
You'll see Ginobili take it hard. There's the foul that takes place, and the ball is still on its way up, or he gets it on the way up, which you're allowed to do.
Foul on Brian Shaw, his second. Malik Rose has come on for David Robinson. Manu Ginobili, who is deceptively quick. The Italian most valuable player of the last 2 years, actually drafted by San Antonio back in 1999 out of Argentina. He was an impact player here in Game 1.
Great story about R.C. Buford, the general manager here in San Antonio, when he went to evaluate him after they had already picked him. It was about 6 months later as Kobe lines up another jumper and misses. He went to Italy to watch him play. The team he was playing for was so bad defensively that they were giving up 60% a game. Parker with the miss to their opponents. He looked at him and said he'll never be able to play in the NBA, especially at the defensive end. After the last game, he welcomed Ginobili to the NBA and the win. Kobe with the drive. And then Ginobili turned to RC and said, just like Reggio Calabria, which is where he played in Italy.
Is there a point to that story? Malik Rose not able to stuff. That is bizarre, sprinkling play-by-play. Ginobili.
I'm just doing the game. I'm sticking to business here.
Spurs up by 10. A minute and a half gone by in the second quarter. Jackson. Medvedenko with the rebound.
Well, Jackson may really have a problem getting himself going here. He struggled in Game 1 to make shots. Then he had the problem. He tried to turn it on the officials. Coach took him out of the game, sat him down. Early in this game, he gets beat off the dribble twice by Brian Shaw. All of that going into the young man's mind in a very, very big game for him.
Bryant being played by Jackson. Kobe almost lost it out of bounds. And the foul is called. Jackson came over the top looking for the block and collects his first.
Smart move, too. He took the foul rather than let Robinson wind up with the foul at the end, or you knew Shaq was going to finish this one off by perhaps throwing not only the ball, but a couple people through the hoop. And out from behind.
And again, I believe that David Robinson should stay with O'Neal's body and make a guy like Kareem Rush finish those shots around the basket. He doesn't want a part of this game right now from an offensive standpoint.
Shaq at 61% at the line in the postseason. A reminder, coming up on Friday on TNT, it's Game 3 of the Nets and Celtics, followed by the Spurs and the Lakers. Coverage starting 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Will be at Staples in L.A. on Friday, and then Sunday on TNT, starting at 7:30. Game 4, Pistons and Sixers, followed by the Mavericks and the Kings. And a foul is called on Bryant. Earlier tonight here on TNT, the Nets defeated the Celtics 104-95. So New Jersey with a 2-0 lead in that best of 7. Richard Jefferson had 25 points to lead the way. Jason Kidd, 23 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. Claxton got the step. Jackson is wide open for 3. You can see the lack of confidence there. He did not want to take that shot.
But Jeff, to answer your question from before, yes, keeping a body on Shaq. does maybe at least to keep him off those offensive boards, because if the center leaves, who's going to block him out? The point guard?
And Bryant is fouled. Ferry came over to help. That'll put Kobe at the line.
Remember what we said, 33 out of the 38 field goal attempts in game one were jump shots. That time Kobe catches, puts it on the floor. Ferry immediately there to form the double team, but the foul is called.
Danny Ferry sits down. Tim Duncan returns. Bruce Bowen is back. Kobe Bryant on Monday night in game one attempted only 2 free throws. 2 for 2 from the line. Kobe's still bothered by that sore right shoulder, although he says he's fine. He's had his problems against San Antonio. Only 38% from the field, and the regular season Spurs took all 4 regular season meetings, so they've won the last 5 games against the Lakers. Robinson with room. O'Neal got a piece of it. Rush, rebounded by Robinson.
All Shaq wanted him to do was come down and throw the ball up to the rim. Shaq was giving him the signal with the hand. Rush didn't understand. He didn't mean to shoot it yourself. He meant throw it up. I'm bigger than everybody else that was back in transition.
Here's Bowen for 3. Yes! Bruce Bowen is on fire. 3 for 3 from downtown. He has 11 points in all, and the Spurs lead by 10.
Again, you're leaving him wide open. He's got to step up and shoot. He's showing a lot of confidence. In game one, I thought he passed up too many opportunities.
O'Neal from Pargo. Now Rush looking to put some pressure on Jackson, is able to handle. Nice move by Jackson. And then Claxton says, I'll reset. 4 minutes gone by, second quarter. Speedy Claxton, who did a nice job in about 14 minutes of playing time the other night, and has contributed here in game 2.
And again, you see them going to the pick and roll, hoping that the big men from the Lakers will not do a good job in stepping up, which they did not that time.
Pargo with a good fake. That sent Claxton backpedaling.
And remember what Greg Popovich told us. He doesn't want to call straight post-up plays for Tim Duncan. He feels they get too stagnant. He wants them to play, run a lot of pick and rolls, and then find Duncan late.
Nice pass. Robinson for Jackson, and that had to feel good for Steven Jackson, who was 0 for 6 here on Monday night.
Jeff, my concern right now is looking in the eyes of the Lakers. You know when players start looking around at each other, when a guy gets a wide-open score like that, there may be a disbelief that we actually have enough out here to get this job done.
O'Neal. Shaq continues his scoring. He now has 14 points, 6 of 8 from the field. Off the steal. Bryant with Duncan back. Oh, what a move by Kobe, but it was deflected short. He was trying to draw the foul on Duncan. Bowen from the other side. Yes! Another 3! 14 points for Bowen. 4 for 4 from downtown, and the Spurs lead by 11. Bryant with the crossover and scores. What a move by Kobe Bryant.
And when he's on that wing, I don't think you can let him get to the baseline. I think you have to force him into the middle, into help.
Jason Kidd, as New Jersey made it a 2-0 lead on the best of 7 against the Celtics. Game 3 Friday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time on TNT. And Richard Jefferson, the Gatorade Player of the Game. In the first of our TNT doubleheader, San Antonio with a 43-34 advantage. How about Bruce Bowen, who just tied San Antonio's playoff record for most threes made in a half. He's hit 4 of 4 from downtown. Danny Ferry did it 2 years ago.
And you have to be happy for a guy like Bowen, who's been through the CBA, played overseas, and just through sheer hard work has made himself a very capable NBA player.
Jackson for 3. Robert Horry back on the floor, able to handle that rebound. Brian Shaw is back. Shaw playing with 2 fouls. And Shaw ball picked up by Jackson. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Spurs with a 43-34 lead. Bryant with a series of moves. So Kobe has 14 points. He is 6 for 11.
Chess match taking place between Bryant and Bowen. Bowen trying to figure out which way Kobe's going. Kobe has to use those fakes to clear enough space.
Nice move. Parker from Duncan.
That is just terrible defense. Turnover.
Beautiful pass from Parker. Steven Jackson.
You know, I will do that. But he's an excellent defender. I mean, he has a lot of help on the backside. But nonetheless, he contests shots every time. You're not going to get an open look against him. You just have to raise up and try to shoot through his hands.
And it's been a rewarding week for Bruce Bowen. Monday night did the solid job defensively on Kobe Bryant. Earlier in the day, Monday, took the final exam for a public relations course at the University of Texas, San Antonio. He is now 3 courses shy of a degree in public relations.
Takes his classes at 7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, but he has not been late or missed a practice for the Spurs. Commendable.
San Antonio up by 10. Parker lost his balance. Ginobili. The tip by Duncan.
But that all started with Ginobili's penetration, which left the offensive board open. Penetration, even on misses, leads to good things.
Here's Shaw going to the left hand. Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Mark, we certainly don't want to make light of a situation in which that fan came to the baseline holding up that poster to distract Shaq at the free throw line. In fact, that man was escorted out by Deputy Chief Henry Martinez. Remember, this is San Antonio, home of the baseline Bums, which is what a shot right there by the baseline from Ginobili. And the baseline Bums are one of the loudest cheering sections in the league, and that guy just got a little carried away and came down from his seat, but he was escorted out of here.
Yes, that goes back to the ABA days of the old San Antonio Spurs. There they are. Foul is called on Malik Rose. Not to say that Spurs at 60% from the field. Bruce Bowen, 5 for 6 from downtown as San Antonio hits 6 of 10 from beyond that three-point line. Let's go over to Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Marv, the statistic that stood out in the coach's mind of the Lakers, the 4 assists, certainly not moving the offense, not running the triangle, not doing what they were told by Coach Phil Jackson and his coaching staff before the game. Obviously, they thought that Kobe was taking it personal, the challenge from Bruce Bowen. They said just give Bowen credit for the job he's doing, go out there, play basketball, move the ball around. They also think it's a different San Antonio team than they saw in Game 1.
And Derek Fisher knocks down a 3. That's the first three-pointer by the Lakers.
Mark, the problem with that is move it around, but you got to move it to capable offensive players, and they at times on the floor didn't have capable offensive players because of their injuries. So I'm not sure it's Kobe Bryant who's at fault right now.
Duncan sets it up for Robinson, who's able to get in front of Shaw, taking advantage of the mismatch.
Again, dribble penetration sets up the easy pass. You get people rotating around on the inside, then a high percentage shot.
Shaquille O'Neal. And rebounded by Tim Duncan, who took a poke from Robert Horry. Horry swiping away. Here's Parker. Duncan is up front with Robinson and Bowen. David Robinson. Second field goal for Robinson. He has 4. Spurs 64. The Lakers 46. Brian Shaw in the starting lineup for the first time this season due to the injury suffered by Devin George. O'Neal getting position and draws the foul. So Shaq to the line where he has hit 5 for 7.
Now that initial bounce by Shaq is the thing you talked about earlier, Jeff. It's so hard to call because he went into Robinson. Robinson gets knocked back, but what makes it a foul sometimes and not a foul? And that time, if Robinson probably would have snapped his head back and fallen down, he might have picked up an offensive foul. It's just such a fine line, tough call.
I think it's a nearly impossible call unless you just get the officials to say, if there's contact on that back end and the defender has a legally guarded position, it is an offensive foul. Make post players go around people rather than through them.
Bryant stepping back on Bowen. Bryant was cheating off to help on Duncan.
Marv, what was your grandson's name when you baby?
Jonathan Andrews.
Jonathan Andrews. So,
And mother and son doing very well.
so Jeff and I weren't mentioned at all in the...
There was a thought of Jonathan Andrews, Jeff. Here's Bryant. Handled by Shaquille O'Neal. Big numbers for Shaq. 22 points. He's at 8 of 12 from the field. Spurs now lead 64-49. 9.5 remaining in the third. Jackson launching. Steven Jackson turning it following the 0 for 6 in game 1.
That was almost like it was predetermined that he was going to shoot that thing. He caught it, didn't even hesitate, got it up there.
Sometimes bad shots go in.
Here's Shaw for 3. And Horry able to keep it alive. Offensive foul on Derek Fisher.
When's the last time you remember this many offensive fouls being called in a playoff game? Whether it's guys stepping in front of people and they're running over the top of them, guys coming down the lane, or guys stepping out setting illegal screens. There have been a plethora of offensive fouls.
Whoa. Montclair State is going to be proud tonight.
Montclair State University. So,
okay. Are going to the thesaurus these days. Here is Parker. Yes.
Marv, his level of aggression in game 2 is very good. He's making good decisions. When to shoot the pull-up, when to take it all the way to the basket, when to pass, when to shoot. Much different than in game 1.
Parker now 5 for 7 from the floor. O'Neal getting position. 20. Parker checking the clock down to 7 on the 24. Here's the teardrop. And Parker and Fisher go down. Bryant with a series of fakes on Bowen. And the crowd looking for a traveling violation. Kobe Bryant with 16 points. Rose over Horry.
That's some bad offense the last 2 or 3 trips for San Antonio. They cannot think that they're going to play a 32-minute game and win it. They got to play 48 minutes.
Horry again passed on the 3. It was tipped to the backcourt by Bowen. Shot clock running down. Bryant blocked. Duncan takes. Here's Bowen. Bruce Bowen on the breakaway. And what caused that? Once again, the reluctance of Robert Horry to take an open shot. That's a career playoff high, 21 points for Bowen. And O'Neal clearing the area, called for the offensive foul. That's 3 on Shaq as Rose hit the deck. Walker just checked in, setting the pick. Pass broken up by Jackson. There's Claxton, yes, and the foul. And a decisive victory for the San Antonio Spurs. Parker was trying to knock the ball out of the hands of Kerr. And then Steve had a dribble off to the near side. The Spurs have taken a 2-0 lead in this best of 7 with a convincing win over the Lakers, as the scene will shift to Staples in LA for game 3 on Friday night at the first time that Phil Jackson has trailed in a series 2-0 since back in 1992.